In 1966, England won the Football World Cup, and all over the land people were celebrating. But in Tashkent, the capital city of Uzbekistan, where I am right now, they had an earthquake which devastated 80% of the city. And right now I'm at the memorial to the people who lost their lives. This is the Monument of Courage, which shows a family, mother, father and child. And this is where the epicenter of the earthquake was. It happened roughly between 3 and 8 kilometers below this little monument here, which is a cracked granite. Now, the estimate of the people who lost their lives that was given is about 10 people. But because of Soviet secrecy at the time, they reckon it was a lot more. Probably about 200. An estimate could even be more. Now, around the edge of the monument is a mosaic, but it just captures of what the people did to rebuild the city. And it was the Soviet Union that came in, and they spent 4 years rebuilding the whole of Tashkent, and that is probably why it's so modern here. But at the time there was roughly about 300,000 people made homeless. Now, behind the monument itself is a park which I want to go to, but that is just a sad sort of history of Tashkent. I have been in Tashkent for the last 3 or 4 days. Yesterday I went for the first time out to do a bit of sightseeing, about a kilometre that way around the city centre, the parliament buildings, that sort of thing. It wasn't too bad, didn't get me excited, but this today is going to be a bit better because I've done a bit of research to find out where I need to go. So, saying goodbye to the Monument of Courage, the peaceful garden, and heading into the park. One thing I've noticed about Tashkent, I've been around here, is so many parks. They love their green areas, and this is another just beautiful area. And this is just like walking distance from the monument, which is just over there. And already you've got little families having picnics by the river. That's stunning. But I'm going to have a little wander into here. There is an Olympic museum I've just seen on the map, which I'm quite curious about. And this is it. So this celebrates Uzbekistan's Olympic history, especially since independence in 1991. Now, I can't see if it's open or not. I'm not really keen on going inside, but I have read that the highlights within the museum is a section on national heroes like Arthur Taimazov, who was a 3-time Olympic wrestling gold medalist. But it's also got a section on the Paralympics of Uzbekistan, which they're quite proud of. But it's a quiet area, there's not many tourists around here. But it was built by the Soviets before independence. That does look like the entrance there, because there's a carpet going in, but there's no signs to say entrance or anything like that. So I've just been walking around, can't find a proper entrance, but just over there is a statue of a guy holding an Olympic torch. But in front of me is a bridge that looks amazing. So I've already walked around the park. You saw the river as I entered. this goes over the river as I walk, as it goes round. It just looks like a bit of a maze. So the bridge itself's just got lots of paths underneath, but all them paths lead in a maze type way onto the main bridge itself. But that river just looks so clean. Wow. I've just come over the bridge and there's 2 policemen on this side checking everyone's bags as they come in. I'm not too sure where I'm actually going to, but there's a ferris wheel just up there. It looks like there's a bit of building work going on behind these fences. I've looked at the map, there's not much to see where I'm going to, but it must be important if there's police checking bags, security. This is just so random. Beautiful. Oh my God, there's a park over there. You can just see the roller coaster. Wow. And it's just so peaceful. So I've just checked Google Maps again, and all it says is Navruz Park. That's it. Nothing to say amusement park or ferris wheel. And all around this park there's just different representations of mosques. With another one over there. And then little dolphins. Look at that. So obviously I've come round from the wrong end, the back end coming in. So Navruz is the park, and that is quite big. The bridge I came over was the Bridge of Peace. There is an amusement park, as you saw. There's a lot of security to get in. That is well worth going into if I'd known about it. But I've just seen some tourist signs telling where we can go. But I'm not going to go to any of them. Across the road from the park is this place here, Osiyo Grand. Now, to me, it just looks like an entrance to a casino. And I was just wondering why there was a lot of people hanging around, including there's a police car just in the distance there. But this is what you call like a wedding venue, a banquet hall. And you'll find there's a lot of these in Uzbekistan. It's like a European style-ish. I wonder if there's a wedding on, but it's just men around. Just a bit curious. But that is the entrance from across the road to Navruz Park. And even the entrance looks amazing. So I've come a bit further out from where I was, from the park, and I've taken a taxi, which has only cost me about £1, but I'm outside the Tashkent TV Tower. Now, this seemingly is one of the tallest structures in Central Asia. It's 375 meters tall. It's the 12th tallest TV tower in the world. At least it was when it was finished in 1986. Now, I assumed that you could just walk up to it and have a walk around, but I think you've got to pay to get in, which I wasn't expecting. So let's see how much it is first. But they have got little TV towers on the outside of it. probably to say how tall it is compared to everything else. So I've just been in, and it costs 100,000 some to have a walk around. I think it's to go up to the top as well. That works out about £5.60, which for my budget of £25 a day is so close just to going in. In my head I'm thinking, no, you need to buy some food, you've got to pay for your accommodation for tonight. So I think it's a no-no for me, which is a shame. Looks quite awesome though. What I might do is just have a walk around, see if there's a better view. So here's a bit of a better view of the TV tower. And the reason I'm actually keeping an eye on my budget is because of the fact that the flight into Uzbekistan, which was quite cheap, but it just meant that I would have to, for the next couple of weeks, be a bit more careful of what I spend my money on. The life of a backpacker travelling the world. When Uzbekistan got its independence in 1991, it didn't quite close the window of tourism opportunities for the Western world, but it was difficult. To get here as a tourist, you would have to have a visa, a letter of invitation, and most of the time it just was just a pain just to get all this paperwork to come. But in 2016, a new president came along called, I've got to read his name, Shavkat Mirziyoyev. He made sweeping reforms and he decided to open the country up to Western tourism. So he made it a visa-free 30 days to come in, and the Westerners did start coming. And even when I stayed in the hostel about 3-4 days ago, before I moved into the centre, I met some British, German, French, Australians, all coming over here for an adventure. There's a lot of tour buses here, all to come see the TV tower. So it's a popular place. But yeah, tourism in Uzbekistan is on the rise. Right, I need to cross the road because there is somewhere across there that I've seen on the map that looks amazing. And this is what I've come to see. It is the Museum of Victims of Political Repression, and it's just my luck that it's closed for lunch. Damn! But this was built in 2002 after Uzbekistan got its independence, and it's to honour those persecuted under Tsarist Russia and later the Soviet Union. And it focuses mainly on 1930 Stalinist purges, when thousands of Uzbeks, intellectuals, writers, teachers, politicians and religious leaders were arrested, exiled or executed. And these victims were classed as enemies of the people, and these were just people who were not happy about Soviet rule. After nationalism, it was just not a nice time. And there is a memorial right in front of me. The memorial to the victims of the political repression in Tashkent, and it sits on 17 hectares, and it was actually built in 2000, while the museum behind me was 2002. But it's about 27 meters high. It's got a turquoise roof, and I'm going to try and get a bit closer. Wow, it is set in some amazing bit of garden. Wow. Oh, there's an inscription inside in English. So getting to the centre, and as you look up, I don't think you can see it that well. May the memory of those who have fallen for freedom of their country live forever. Wow. And then in the background, you got the TV tower. This is stunning. So that's the museum over there, which overlooks the canal. Oh wow, that's beautiful. So why have the memorial here? Well, when they were building the TV tower, they uncovered mass graves in this area of political prisoners that had been shot. So that's why the museum concentrates on the 1930s, 1950s. Inside the museum they've got things like documents, photographs, personal belongings and accounts of those who were executed, imprisoned or exiled. And that's why they've got the memorial. And then you have the canal, which, oh wow, which goes past the museum. See if we can get a better shot. Wow. And these all gardens is all part of the memorial. It's stunning. Now, unfortunately, my mobile phone is about to die, and I need my mobile phone to get me back to the hostel. It's got maps on it, and I haven't got a clue how to get back. But I will be doing one more video for Tashkent, and I am so determined to see these metro stations because I've had a few people tell me about them, and there's other stuff I want to see as well. But if you've enjoyed this video, then all you got to do is press that like. If you want to see more of Tashkent, then all you got to do is subscribe. But until the next time, and there is no metro stations around here, so I can only get a taxi because I don't know which buses go towards the hostel. Bye bye for now.